Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to talk to you about the latest episode of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. It was called Very Interesting as an Astrogration Problem. And as it starts, the kids' parents have gathered together and are waiting for news of where their kids are from the government. But they're told that since the ship has gone out past the barrier, the government can't really risk contacting anyone that would know anything about the whereabouts of the ship because it would alert outsiders to the location of At-Aten. Meanwhile, our heroes escape the brig with their newfound force-sensitive friend, whom women Neil seem to trust implicitly because they think he's a Jedi, while the girls, who I think are a little older and perhaps wiser, are skeptical. In fact, after they make it through the scum and villainy between them and the kids' ship, Fern surmises that it was a little too easy for them to get to the ship. So she thinks something is up, although never really pans out. I immediately thought, yeah, they let them go, as in the departure from Bespin City so that they could be tracked as the Empire tracked Han's ship. But yeah, that never showed up. So I wonder why they put that line in there. Anyway, skeptical though she is, she urges their newfound friend, Jod, to go back for SM-33, begging the question, why didn't they go get him on their way out? Like, why would you get all the way out and then go, oh yeah, we got to go back and get the droid, so let's send somebody back in? That didn't make sense to me. Anyway, of course, he finds said droid soon enough, but is confronted by one of his former crew members on his way out and finds himself chased all the way back to the ship. He does manage to make it aboard with SM-33, and they try to take off, but they, of course, are tethered to the station by a fuel line, and they can only manage to escape by means of some very creative and simultaneously destructive flying on behalf of Jod, culminating in making the jump to hyperspace while still tethered, which was pretty wild, because the fuel line snapped back and broke a bunch of crap on the pirate base. Anyway, a little while later, SM-33 confronts Jod as Jod is snooping around the ship. And at that point, Jod asks if the kids are really from At-Aten, but SM doesn't really answer him. He kind of evades the question. A little later, KB tells Jod that she doesn't believe he's a Jedi before getting some rest with the rest of the kids. A few hours later, they arrive on a moon where Jod apparently knows someone named Kim who knows a lot about star maps and whatnot. As they approach Kim's abode, we learn that Kim is some type of a 2-foot tall owl being, and that she's been tracking them already by camera, and that she called the authorities to arrest Jod, who she assumes has kidnapped the kids and who apparently has some kind of a history as a criminal, and whom she actually knows as a different name. When the kids do arrive with Jod, she explains to the kids that there is no map that shows where their planet is because it was hidden from the rest of the galaxy, but that she thinks she can find it based on talking with the kids and analyzing some of the symbols on their clothes and paraphernalia. Jod, of course, soon figures out that Kim is stalling and that she actually already figured out where the planet is since she's been talking with the kids. And he suspects, of course, that the reason she's doing that is because she's called the authorities on him. So he copies the coordinates and takes off with the kids as X-Wings arrive. He then strikes a deal with the kids whereby they would be in charge and he would just follow along with their wishes after he tells them that he's all alone in the galaxy just like them when they force his hand under threat of SM. As the X-Wings chase them and fire on them, Jod puts Neil in charge of evading the fire as he takes Fern and Wim to gunner seats. After a few harrowing minutes of evading the X-Wings in the atmosphere, our heroes escape to space and engage the hyperdrive. The X-Wings then land on the moon, and one pilot says to Kim that they didn't want to take out the ship with the kids aboard. And he asks Kim where they're headed, to which she replies by saying that if she told him, he wouldn't believe her. And that's where the episode ended. So I continued to enjoy this show. I think it's a really good sort of YA show in the vein of, as everyone is saying, and as I've said before, Goonies, in the vein of Super 8, in the vein of, Stranger Things and Explorers and Zathura and Jumanji, the original one. I think the kids do a good job. I like the two younger characters. They're very impressionable and very sort of, wide-eyed and innocent, whereas the girls, who are, again, I think a little older, are a little bit more skeptical and a little bit more hardened, and I think that's a good mix. I liked when he put the two kids in the gunner seats and they're basically shooting at X-Wings and, like reveling in it. That was really cool. It brought back memories of A New Hope where Luke was in the gunner seat on the Falcon, and I thought that was cool. I liked how he put Neil in charge of evading the X-Wings, and so he's just moving the stick back and forth, like not really knowing how to fly, but like just dodging as best he can, but kind of crashing into stuff. I thought that was wild. I liked the Kim character a whole lot. We've never seen a character like that in Star Wars, and I thought it looked fantastic. The special effect was amazing, and it was just a cool type of creature that's a bird, but also can like work a computer. So that was wild, and I thought the voice characterization was really, really good. It just came off really well, the whole Kim character. I liked that we learned a little bit more about Jod, that he's got a sort of criminal past, which we know he's a pirate, but that he's known to, other people. He's kind of like a Han Solo character in that, he has friends just like Han Solo had Lando Calrissian who know he's a scoundrel. So I thought that was good. And, it evoked Empire, which is good. I like that they're building this mystery around at Aten and apparently other planets that were similar to it, which were all destroyed at one point. I like that they, added in the lore that the kids don't know about the Clone Wars and all that. They were isolated from it, so they don't know anything about it. They think Alderaan still exists. They learned about Alderaan in school, and they think it still exists. So I'm interested to see more about what these treasure planets are. Is there a treasure? Is there not a treasure? Where did it come from? I'm interested to know more about Jod's backstory, and I'm excited to see where they go next, right? Now they've got a set of coordinates and they're going to try to find at Aten, but there are 4 episodes left, so it's not going to be that quick, right? So what are we going to see next? It should be cool. Who else are they going to run into as they're being chased? I think the pirates are going to catch up with them at some point. I think that's inevitable. So there's going to be more space battle stuff. I'm really liking the SM-33 character. Nick Frost is doing an excellent job in that role. He sounds totally different than any of his other characters, and his vocalization in this case is really suited to the character. I think this ship was probably also some type of pirate ship or a ship that belonged to some type of scoundrel, just because SM-33 is very rough around the edges, right? He's not like a protocol droid that's smooth and whatnot. Speaking of droids, when Jod goes back for SM-33, he runs into a couple of different droids. He runs into a Death Star droid, and he runs into a protocol droid, which I thought was cool. And he also runs into a droid from the Clone Wars, the name of which I'm forgetting. The Roger Roger droids. He runs into one of those. So that those were a couple of cool Easter eggs. As I mentioned, I want to know more about Jod's backstory. Specifically, was he ever a Jedi? We know he's a criminal. We know he's probably a pirate or has pirated, but was he ever, in fact, a Jedi? Or is he just force sensitive? He even says in this episode, I never said I was a Jedi. So was he? Was he not? Was he a Padawan? What happened there? Where did he get his force training? So I really want to know about that. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to the next 4 episodes of the season. I think it's a good show. I think people who say that Disney Star Wars sucks have a point to the extent that it's been hit and miss, but I think this is one of the shows you have to count as a hit. I think they hit on something good with this, and I'm really enjoying it, and I look forward to next week. For now, before I start repeating myself, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back with another video soon. Until I return, may the force be with you.